watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have the pleasure to feature a watch from Christopher Ward. In fact, this is my very first Christopher Ward featuring on this channel, and this particular watch is courtesy of Sung, a local supporter and enthusiast who's kindly made this watch available for review today. So Christopher Ward is probably a brand that doesn't need any introduction. Established in 2004 by 3 individuals according to their story, and you can read the details on their website, of course, all links below. But they have an MO of offering quality watches, so they have a goal of making all their watches made in Switzerland. And they have a unique business model which connects customers directly with the watchmaker, and they actually come out and say they have very fair margins. So this is the only watch company I've heard that come out and say that they have a 3 times margin. No other watch brand I'm aware of has actually said that in any of the materials that I've seen. And they offer old-fashioned customer care is what they say. They have this 60-60 guarantee, so meaning that they have a 60-day free returns, satisfaction guarantee and free return, and also a 60-month warranty on their movements, meaning 5-year warranty what they offer. So pretty good on spec, straight up. So let's just take a closer look at this particular watch and see whether it lives up to the hype. Alright, so let's flip around and take a closer look at this particular guy. Alright, so here we got the watch on the table. So guys, what we have here is the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Elite 1000. Now this is no longer available. This was a limited edition. The previous limited edition price was 1565 euros. Right, and depending on when you do the exchange rate, that's about the same in USD. Whereas the current version, and I'm talking about the version with the rubber strap, not the bracelet that this comes in, is 1425 USD. Okay, so 1565 euros for the previous version with the rubber strap. Of course, you're going to add on some amount of value if you want this kind of titanium bracelet, which I'm featuring this watch in. Okay guys, so as I usually like to do, let's talk about the movement now. So the movement in this watch is actually the Sellita SW200-1. Details you can see down the left of screen here. In this case, it is actually a COSC certified movement, so it is running in terms of chronometer accuracy. The rated accuracy of COSC chronometers, of course, -4 to +6 seconds per day. This one is well in the middle of that range. It's running about +1 second per day in the week that I've run this, and that is very good. That is something that I really like, when it's running just so accurately. Quick set date in this watch, of course, featured on the window at the 3 o'clock position, so it's a dark background with white writing on that framed window at the 3 o'clock position, which you can see there on screen. Okay, so let's talk about the case now. The case here is actually 42 millimeters in diameter. It is grade 2 titanium, which is an interesting thing. I don't think I've featured another watch in grade 2. So grade 2 is one of the grades of unalloyed titanium, so kind of more pure titanium, whereas all the other watches I've featured with titanium, I think, are pretty much grade 5, which is I guess the most common, widely used alloy with a lot of good characteristics. This one, I gather that it is still quite strong, but there is some degree of softness to it, probably softer than grade 5, meaning that it's easier to scratch. This is my understanding, but I'm not a metallurgist. Correct me if I'm wrong, and why you might think that they chose grade 2 titanium versus grade 5. One of the possibilities I suspected was the color. So this is the BOLDR Venture. You can see it's titanium, but one of the immediate things that you will notice is that the shade of the color is very different, and maybe that's one of the reasons you might choose grade 2. This one I've replaced it with a Strapify French navy strap, which is really quite nice, so I'm going to feature these later on. Okay, so back to the case here after that sidetrack. So 42 millimeters, 15 millimeters thick, so fairly chunky, particularly with that case back edition there. It's 22 millimeter lug width here, with a lug-to-lug distance between my thumbs of 49 millimeters, which is kind of what you would expect for a watch about this size. The overall weight of this watch is 126 grams. So as is completely titanium with this bracelet, you can expect that it would be lighter. Of course, if you put it on the rubber strap, and I will change it onto the rubber strap later, it will be even lighter than that. All right, finishing then. So the bezel, right, if you look at the metal on the bezel, it's matte finishing. Okay, there's longitudinal brushing on the top surface of the case. Okay, and there's a bit of a polished bevel there, which is kind of nice. It's hard to get a polished bevel, polished finish on titanium, but that's what they've done. Longitudinal finishing on the side of the case there, and a very nicely done helium escape valve, I must say. It's kind of ringed in blue, which matches the other blue of the watch here. And then going down the bottom, it's kind of a matte finishing at the bottom, actually, I want to say. Just take a look at the I don't think it's really brushed. It really is a bit of a matte finishing. And then the case back, of course, I'm pretty sure that's not titanium. It's going to be steel. There's a polish and mixed finishing on the case back there, right? There's a stamping on there, right, with that nice trident symbol of the Christopher Ward Trident range, right? Screw down solid case back, and of course a screw down sign crown there. So the English cross versus the Swiss cross there. Which is the Christopher Ward logo. This watch is actually a full-blooded diver at 1,000 meter water resistant rating, and that's why you would put in a blue escape valve. Okay, so now talking about the dial. Now the dial here is a high gloss blue dial, right, with printed words, right? So it's got the printed Christopher Ward as well as the water rating down the bottom, a bit of orange in terms of splash of color. And the orange also comes in on the bezel ring here. And then the logo at the 12 o'clock position is very, very subtle. In fact, in different kind of lighting conditions, it almost disappears. It's almost difficult to see. I don't mind that, a bit of a subtle detail about the dial here. Right, the chapter ring is around the periphery, and that is, of course, also printed. And then it's got applied jewel finished indices. The indices have polish as well as brushing on them, and then the hands also have jewel finishing, right? They also have a brush and polish elements. You get an arrow hand for the hour, as well as a baton hand for the minute, and a lollipop finish or shape for the second hand there, which also has a splash of orange at the tip that you can see there, as well as the Trident counterbalance. Some people don't like the Trident branding, but I don't mind that they've actually put that counterbalance on this watch. The lume is X1GL C1 Supernova. That's what they say it is. Now, in my understanding, that's still not as good as C3 Superluminova, but I gotta say the lume on this watch is pretty well done. They've actually covered the lume pretty well, and it does glow very nicely all the way through the night. Okay, so talk about the bezel now. The bezel is 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel with blue, white and orange ceramic insert. Quite nicely done. I gotta say this is really nicely done. Of course you saw the lume shot. This is a full lume bezel, which glows very nicely. Let's just hear how it sounds now. 5, 10, right? So 120 click unidirectional style bezel. Very easy to turn and clicks quite satisfyingly. Some people don't like loud bezel clicks, but this one has a very satisfying click. I gotta say, I don't mind that it's very audible. It's a nice audible rather than tacky audible in my opinion. Okay, and then on top of it is a flat sapphire crystal with internal anti-reflective coating. Okay, so let's just talk about the bracelet now, which is brush finished. Okay, this is really what it is. Titanium, 3-piece per link, tapers to 18 millimeters, solid end links with quick release, right? You can see the quick release tabs there. Hopefully you can see that clearly on this camera. And then it's got push pin adjustment, all right, and the push button release clasps here. Okay, right. Nicely finished with the Christopher Ward logo. The other thing about this clasp is that I'll show you, it's got this nice, fairly nicely done, I guess, micro adjustment. It's got 4 points here, right, and you just push it in to get the different positions. So fairly nicely done with solid arms, of course. Okay, so that's the description of this watch. Let's just snap it on the wrist for a wrist shot for you guys now. Okay, so there we go, 42 millimeters, 49 millimeter lug to lug distance. Okay, all right, and then the clasp here on the other side. That's how it looks like, 15 millimeters on the thickness there. So it rides relatively high, I have to say. Okay, so there it is on the wrist. Now, what I want to do, of course, is also show you the rubber strap which this comes in. So I'll show you the quick release. Very easy to do. Okay, so you just grab it and there it is. That's the quick release strap there, come off, and then what you want to do is grab the rubber and just put it on. And I'm not going to fast forward this because it's just going to show you how quick and easy these quick release straps can be. And this one is pretty nicely engineered, just right, you know, very easy to put on. And let's just put it on the wrist now to show you guys how this looks. Okay, so there we go, guys. This is the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Elite 1000 on the original strap that it came with. So the pricing that I quoted earlier is with the rubber strap, right? Not with the titanium bracelet. And there we go. That's how it looks like. Looks good, right? The color, the orange really does pop on video here. Okay, and let's just take it out and just talk about this particular strap, which is actually, of course, as you can see, it's rubber, but it's also a jewel material. That's corduroy on the blue on the top there. It's got a brush finish buckle here. Okay, that's what you're getting with this particular watch. And then, of course, you saw the quick release. All right, so that's the entire description, guys. What do I like about this? What have I enjoyed about this? Right, solid featured product, right? Swiss made, COSC certified chronometer movement, right? Well finished. I got to say the finishing both on this case as well as the bracelet, which is, you know, optioned in here, is pretty darn nice, right? Premium materials. Of course, you're getting sapphire as the crystal, but you're also getting a very nicely done ceramic bezel insert and titanium, in this case grade 2, which I don't know whether that's more expensive than grade 5, but certainly it's going to be more expensive, all things being equal, than a stainless steel watch and a 316L steel watch. And then it's got a pretty cool, 1,000 meter rating with a very nicely done helium escape valve. I really like that. And I like the case craft. That's another thing I like. You know, it's pretty good on the, particularly the side profile, how, you know, it's not just a big slab. It's got a bit of bevel edges, facets there. You know, that case back pops out on the back a bit, which I think I prefer it to be thinner, but I guess you might need to do that for 1,000 meter rating, right? It needs to be pretty solid. And then the clasp, I showed you the clasp earlier, is pretty darn well made on this option here, you know, with that micro adjust kind of glide lock style there. Not quite Rolex glide lock, but, you know, it's got that micro adjustment feature. What I think are the concerns I have about this watch? Well, the orange and blue looks cool, right? It really does look cool, but it may not stay very classic. You know, 5 years later, if you look back on this, you know, will you still like the look of this? Maybe not. And it certainly probably is difficult to consider this will stay a classic design, not like just, you know, plain, you know, I think a plain steel or plain titanium without too much orange. It's probably going to stay classic for longer. So there's just a slight concern there. I think most of the design features on this watch, I mean, look at the dial, the bezel, right, the lugs, the crown, none of it's actually really that groundbreaking. It's really the side profile that I like. Everything else is, you know, really stuff that you've seen before. None of this is super duper original. You know, the combination is original, but no single element really, you know, just blows your mind, I think, at least not for me. And then I'm not sure about the choice of the grade 2 titanium. You know, I think it's going to scratch easier than grade 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm just not sure why choose that rather than the more common, probably higher durable and corrosion resistant alloy like something like grade 5. So let me know if you have any insights on why you would choose grade 2. And then the strap, lastly, I would say that whilst it looks good, right, it really does look quite good, it doesn't feel very good. It's not that comfortable. It's actually a bit stiff. At this price range, I expect that they can put a bit more attention into the strap to make it just that much more perfect. This one isn't quite perfect, and I'd much rather the bracelet, in my opinion. Okay, guys, there we go. A bit long here. That's my thoughts about this watch. Let's just flip the camera around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys, my review of a Christopher Ward, my first Christopher Ward watch, the Trident C60 Elite 1000. Let me know your thoughts about this piece. Let me know your thoughts if you have any experience of Christopher Ward and their pieces. I think there will be no shortage of people who have experience of the brand, because they do seem to be talked about quite a lot. I think there's quite a bit to like about this particular watch, but of course there are, you know, some weaknesses. It's not a perfect watch by any means. So let me know your particular insights and thoughts about this. Would love to hear from you guys, as always, in the comments below. Guys, if you enjoyed my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.